So like this virus might not be able to kill you, but like at the same time, that doesn't mean it can't kill you. Well, that might be the dumbest thing I've ever said in my entire life, actually. Okay, what's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and I swear to God, I'm not on drugs, I'm just incredibly stupid. Anyways, alright, today we will be reviewing Deck Devastation Virus, which is one of the old virus trap cards that was kind of always overshadowed by the other better viruses, excluding Corona, obviously, that doesn't count, it's like a tier 0 virus. But I'm talking about pre-errata Crush Card and EEV. Not EV, EEV, yeah, that one, that annoying piece of Okay, jokes aside though, Deck Devastation Virus is an incredibly powerful trap card and has the potential to immediately close out games in the right deck and in the right matchup. So, before we get into the analysis of Deck Devastation Virus, make sure you like and subscribe and let's jump right into it. So to start things off, it's a normal trap card and reads, tribute one dark monster with 2000 or more attack, that's the cost. Look at your opponent's hand, all monsters they control and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn after this card's activation, and destroy all those monsters with 1500 or less attack. Okay, let's be realistic for a moment. How easy is it to achieve the 2000 or more attack dark attribute monster on your field? Can every deck do that, or is Deck Devastation Virus restricted to decks that can only play powerful dark attribute monsters in the main deck? Absolutely not! It's a freaking piece of cake to summon a monster with 2000 or more attack that is dark. As a matter of fact, just 2 monsters literally does it. All you have to do is get 2 effect monsters on the field, link summon for Codebreaker Virus, Swordsman, and boom, Merry Christmas. You have your 2k plus attack dark, and yeah, your opponent is going to cry. Codebreaker Virus, Swordsman.
Codebreaker Virus, Swordsman.
Okay, let's be serious for just a moment. You do not need to main deck a single dark attribute monster to use Deck Devastation Virus, because with literally just any 2 monsters on your field, you can get access to a Deck Devastation tribute target. That kind of is insanity because against so many decks, this has the potential to be immediately insta-win. Now you might be wondering, Yasin, which decks lose to Deck Devastation Virus? And my guy Jeffrey or Michael or Samantha or Bernard, whatever your name is watching this video, first of all, I love you, and second of all, look, this card destroys everyone. It destroys hand traps like Ash, Valor, Ghost Bell, DD Crow, literally almost every single hand trap that is currently being played, but on top of that, it hurts so many archetypes. Have you ever heard of Flunderies? Yeah, okay. Have you ever read their stats? You know, Robina, Eaglin, Ostrich, the other guy, the Toucan or something? Yeah, have you ever realized that their attack points are all extremely low? Yeah, so if you use Deck Devastation Virus against Flunderies, not only can you snipe every single hand trap they have, but also every single play starter they could have as well. But wait, it gets worse! Against other decks such as Salamangrate, you destroy every single monster they have, literally except Jaguar, and also, by the way, you take care of monsters that are also on the field too. So it's not just a card that only hand rips your opponent's hand, no. And it also takes care of Sky Striker, Ace, Ray, and Rose. Oh, Rays. Okay, yeah, that might actually be a new Sky Striker monster for the deck, actually. Every single Altergeist monster that isn't Marionetter loses to the card. Every single monster in the entire Evil Twin deck, so the starters, the extenders, the hand traps, they all die to one single Deck Devastation Virus. And by the way, every single time you draw one card, you have to reveal it to your opponent, and if it is a monster with 1500 or less attack, it dies as well. So if you hand rip a bunch of cards your opponent has desires, goes banish 10, draw 2, and it's like a hand trap and an Evil Twin or a weak monster, well, guess what? They all get destroyed. Adignister, have you ever read their stats? They all die to Deck Devastation Virus. Their attack points are super low, so every single Adignister monster. And in case you're wondering, Yasin, is there a current meta deck that loses hard to Deck Devastation Virus? Again, my boy, Prank Kids. Every single Prank Kid monster has 1500 or less attack, so they all die. And you can wait until they perform their normal summon and then use Deck Devastation Virus. So even if your opponent had, I don't know, like the field spell to search after that, wouldn't work. Your opponent still freaking loses everything. The best case scenario is that you hand rip your opponent for 6, and the worst case is that you make him lose the normal summon as well as a bunch of cards in the hand too. Oh, and just to make myself clear, Deck Devastation Virus is being applied for 3 turns. This is insanity. So you're not just going to get hand trapped to death, overwhelmed by resources, and your opponent is always going to win in a top deck game. As a matter of fact, you barely have to commit anything with Deck Devastation Virus. I can think of so many one-card combos, well, one-card combos, ooh! One-card low commitment combos that make a link to monsters such as Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, and then resolve Deck Devastation Virus. Your opponent can have infinite billion hand traps, and it's never gonna work. You only need 3 summons to get to Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, so Nibiru doesn't help, Ash, Valor, Imperm, whatever, they also do nothing either. I mean, there's just no choke point. Your opponent can have back row removal like Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm to win evenly, and it does nothing at all because it's a proactive trap card you can use at absolutely any time, and since you're tributing a monster for cost, it's also indirectly an out to Mystic Mine. In case you don't want to play back row removal, you can just side in Deck Devastation Virus, your opponent goes Mystic Mine, you just link off all of your monsters for a dark monster with high attack, you go Deck Devastation Virus, and it doesn't matter if you get Dark Bribed, Solemn Judgment, or whatever, you tributed your monster for cost, you have nothing, and during the end phase, Mystic Mine is going to die. That's just one of the extra bonuses that the card randomly has for no reason. The hand knowledge is so ridiculously important as well, because I refuse to believe that if you go first, all you're ever gonna have is a link to monster with Deck Devastation Virus. Obviously, it's not going to be just that. If you want to play it safe and keep your follow-up play for next turn when you know for a fact that your opponent isn't going to have a hand trap, well, you're going to be fine because you're also going to be scouting your opponent's hand to try to figure out if your opponent had Nibiru, because obviously in order to scout your opponent's hand, all you really have to do is get those 3 summons, and then second that deck dev, your opponent also loses the other hand traps and a form of pressure to apply on you, so your opponent's, what can he really have? Like Imperm and all those really smaller cards that I think you definitely will be able to play through on your follow-up play. And by the way, you're also not allowed to use the bullshit excuse that I'm making this video to manipulate the market, because right now the card is literally worth less than $1. So you have absolutely no excuse not to be able to afford 3 copies of Deck Devastation Virus. If anything, all this video is really going to be doing is maybe change the price of the max rarity Deck Devastation Viruses, but that's pretty much it. So in conclusion, if you have a tendency to still lose post game 1 when you're going first because maybe you're getting a hand trap to death, or your opponent is just overwhelming you like Prank Kids, what they're doing is that they go hand trap, hand trap, hand trap, and then normal summon, maybe you have like one way to stop them, but after that, you just no longer have any stamina, and all they really need is just 1 card to top deck every single turn. Deck Devastation Virus might be the card for you because it makes sure that your opponent also cannot have a good top deck game later on, as well as making your opponent's early game infinitely worse and giving yourself a much better follow-up for turn 3, so your second turn, since you know for a fact that your opponent will not have the hand traps to counter your other plays. And if you're playing something like Temple of the Kings or some bullshit like that, well, maybe you can resolve Deck Devastation Virus on your turn 1 and then literally full combo through, well, I mean, around hand traps in a way, but obviously that's BS. Anyways, I really could keep going about how I do believe that this card is fantastic, but I'll let you guys debate it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it keeps my mental health in check, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, guys.